Well, it just keeps getting worse in Canada. It's like the country is run by children, and not even clever children. Slow children. The kind who tell you that they want to be prime minister one day, and you say, well, that's great, Timmy, but first let's get that crayon out of your nose. And so here we have this headline that just goes beyond satire. You can't make this up. Man who fought for Nazis honored during Zelensky's visit to Parliament. That's right. This is the kind of thing that happens in Canada now. And here's something that will come as no surprise. Several Jewish advocacy organizations condemned members of Parliament on Sunday for giving a standing ovation to a man who fought for a Nazi unit during the Second World War. During Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to Ottawa on Friday, MPs honored 98-year-old Yaroslav Hunka in the House of Commons. And it says here that Hunka was invited by Speaker Anthony Rota, who introduced him as a war hero who fought for the 1st Ukrainian Division. But that's not all he said. I'd like to show you this tweet from the amazing Zoltan. I captured the precise moment the Liberal House Speaker realized that he had accidentally invited a literal World War II Nazi veteran to the Canadian Parliament as his honored guest.
We have here in the chamber today Ukrainian Canadian world veteran from the Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support the troops.
That's right. Against the Russians. In fact, he was a part of the Waffen SS. Guess what? They were on Adolf's side. Now, I'm willing to give a pass here on almost everybody who's a part of this, even the NDP, if you can believe that. I mean, it's not like you can expect a socialist to know anything about 20th century history, after all. Because if you hear there's going to be a Ukrainian war hero from World War II, you're going to assume that they had fought against Germany, not for Germany. You're going to assume that they weren't a volunteer. They didn't volunteer to fight for Germany against Russia. And I noticed that moment from this video when I saw it for the first time too, where there's just this pause where something in his head, you see something click in his head that goes, oh, wait a second, that doesn't sound quite right. Fought against Russia? Well, who is Russia fighting again? And he is taking the fall for this. Here we can see from cbc.ca, House Speaker apologizes for honoring Ukrainian who fought in Nazi unit in World War II. So he's claiming it was all his idea, and I'm not really sure that I'm buying this. He said, I have subsequently become aware of more information which causes me to regret my decision to honor Hunka. I wish to make clear that no one, including fellow parliamentarians and the Ukrainian delegation, was aware of my intention or my remarks before I delivered them. I don't believe that. I think there is zero chance that the Prime Minister's office just had no idea any of this was happening. And I'm not saying that they support the Waffen SS. I'm just saying they're dumb. I think what this really shows is this is just another example of the insane level of incompetency at the highest levels of the ruling party in Canada now, which is the Liberals. Again, if you weren't part of the vetting process, you just heard there was going to be a Ukrainian war veteran speaking, you wouldn't really think that much of it. I mean, you may know that there were Ukrainians who fought for the Germans, but you would assume, it would be incomprehensible that that's who you would honor. Again, I just find it incomprehensible that none of this was vetted properly, competently. But really, it's actually not surprising. Trudeau himself, I wouldn't be surprised if he couldn't name the countries involved in World War II. Here's what Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada, had to say. It has come out today that Justin Trudeau personally met with and honored a veteran of the 14th Waffen Grenadier Division of the SS. Liberals then arranged for this Nazi veteran to be recognized on the floor of the House of Commons during the visit of the Ukrainian president. This is an appalling error in judgment on the part of Justin Trudeau, whose personal protocol office is responsible for arranging and vetting all guests and programming for state visits of this kind. No parliamentarians other than Justin Trudeau had the opportunity to vet this individual's past before he was introduced and honored on the floor of the House of Commons. Without warning or context, it was impossible for any parliamentarian in the room other than Mr. Trudeau to know of this dark past. Mr. Trudeau must personally apologize and avoid passing the blame to others as he always does. Well, it looks like Rota, the Speaker of the House, has already taken the fall for him, and he's firmly under the bus. And I have to say, I feel like this is some sort of karma. It's coming back to revisit Trudeau. He calls everybody he doesn't like, the bad guys from Germany, they're phobes. He hasn't really figured out any other political strategy in his entire political life. That's it. Smear people. And so I guess you'd have to say this couldn't happen to a nicer Ukrainian Nazi celebrating prime minister. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.